Hey all, welcome back. In the previous set of clips, you have seen how we came to the 6, 7, 10, 11 pieces of the yellow and then solve them. Now we are going to continue in the same vein and go to the other pieces. Now, as I said, it's going to take time. There will be multiple clips that I'll be solving, putting it for even solving one center. So please be patient and bear with me. Now you see this, there are one edge. If you assume within the center these are edges, these are center corners, right? Center edges, center corners, core center. Okay, so if you see this, these there is one edge solved, which is like position number 2. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be um, you know um, what is it called, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? 14, 15, it can be anywhere. So we have to look at each and every piece and then solve them. So the way you solve this corner, which is your 1, 4, 13 and 16, is different from the way you solve the rest of those. How is that going to happen? I'll explain you. But right now keep in mind that these are the corners within the center and they have a different way of solving compared to the other ones. Okay, so 1, 4, 13 and 16 we will solve it differently. 2, 3 and all these individual edges, right? All the pieces other than the 4 and the core center, we will solve it differently. Now you look at the position. So if you see in the top, you see 1 which is in the, not in the corners, like 1, 4, 13 and 16. It is not in those, but it is in a different way. So what you need to do is you should look at where you can bring this here. So this piece can come either in the 3 or it can come in one of these two, 14, 15. Right, it's easy for us to move this rather than moving it there. So what you need to do is you look at which piece among these two on the top where you can put it. So you see that 3 is a place where you can bring in, right? So move this to the same. Okay, so it's actually the 2 where it goes in. So you need to look at 2, right? So the 2 is now unsolved. This is where you need to bring it. So you're placing it on the top wherever you have it in the 2. Bring this to the same place, the unsolved position. Okay, and now you need to follow a series of moves for you to get this here. And as I said, it is not going to be easy. I would definitely recommend you to please pass and go again and again for you to get the right thing. For you to move a piece from either a 2 or a 3 to 2 or 3 here with the core already built in, keep in mind the core should be completely completed and only then it will be easy for you to do it. So how you bring it? You need to bring this piece from the pivot, which is in the 2 on the top, to the buffer, which is 2 on the front facing side, front. So how do we do that? We follow this series. We do a 3-layer L and then move it down. Then you do the second layer again down. Keep in mind your 3 is already gone down, so the second layer down. Then you move your right F. Okay, now you bring the third layer to the top. Third layer you have to bring it up. So now it's again formed, but you need to bring the top layer down. So what you do is you do an F prime again, and then you do a bottom layer up, which is your 3. So now what you have seen is you have got the one that you saw in the top has come down in this. If it is here, it will come here. If it is here, it will come here. If it is here, it comes here. If it is here, it comes here, and so on. So now you see that you already formed one. There was already one edge that is formed. You already have this moved down. So now you have built the core, you have not touched the core, and you have brought one more edge to this piece. Now let's look at it. It may not be easy for you to follow. I request you to continue following this so that you get a fair idea of what we are talking. So as we progress, you will be able to easily understand the steps. So the sequence of the steps is important. If you do it the other way, it will scramble it. So again, there is one here, and let's see where it can go. So now if you see is you can go. So it can go in any place where it is. So if you see this is an unsolved position, which is your buffer, and this is the pivot. For the moment, ignore all these things. You are going to focus only on the 2, because that is where we start our work. So 2, it should be either 2 or 3. In this case, it is 2. So let's start with the 2. 2 is your buffer. pivot, and two on the top is your pivot, two on the front facing side is your buffer, and here it is unsolved, so you need to bring it. What you do a 3L, third layer, 1 2 3, third layer brought, and then you do an F prime, then you do a second layer down, you bring the second layer down and then do a F. Now you do the 3L prime, you are bringing the core again, then you have the on the top, right? So you need to do prime, you did an F, now it is on the top. Now you bring the second layer back again. So this way you are getting the core is there, you have built the edges 1 2 3 4, all the 4 edges are now being built, and now we have to look at the next edge. So from here we have to go in the same sequence, and I would recommend us doing the same way, but just be careful about the place where you are building it compared to place where the unsolved portion is. In this case it is like it can be either on the left or the 2 or the 3, so it is the 3 and you have the 3 as unsolved. Do the same principle again. This is the fourth layer down, and then build it to the right, which is F, and then you have to bring the second layer, fifth layer down, and then bring it back, F prime, and then you have to bring the fourth layer up again to bring the corners, and since you have now got the edge here, you move it with F, and then bring the layer that is on the top. So now you are seeing that your edges, the center core is good, there is no distortion here, the edges that you built already is good, and in addition to that you have built one more. So it is definitely going to be challenging initially for you to do it as you go, because one of the things you may get distorted. Don't worry about any corners that are getting distorted, some will come and some will go, don't worry about it, because the corner pieces 1 4 13 and 16 you can build it later. Okay, so that don't worry about it. At this point our focus is on 2 3 and this core center and the edges, the 4 edges. So you should have a plus. That is the idea. Even if you don't have the corners, it's okay. You should be able to get a 1 2 3 4, these two layers, you should get a plus. That's the idea, which is your yellow cross, I would say. Okay, so now let's again keep moving here. Okay, so here it is, and your this is your pivot, but your buffer is down. So as always I would move this pivot to closer to the yellow. So what I do is I move this up, move this away, and then move it back, so that way I'm not distorting anything. I just moved this piece to here. Okay, so now it is closer, and all I need is a 2 or 3, so it's both, and I can determine what to do. It is now 3 here. Okay, so I'm going to bring the 3 on the top to 3 on the front. So this 3 top will become the pivot, and 3 front will become the buffer. So I'm going to do the same thing. Since it is on the right, I'll do the fifth layer, 5 R prime, and I'll move it to the right with an F, and then this piece I have to move it down, so I will bring this down and then move this back, move it up, bring this to the right, and then move this up. So now you see this, I have formed the 8, which is like the layer, and I'm left with 2 more pieces for me to get a yellow cross in the center, which is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. These are the 12 pieces that I want to make it as yellow. Then I can go to the corners. So I'm left with 2 more pieces. Okay, if you're not following it, please pause and go back and then try it. I'm continuing to do it in the interest of the others who are following me. I don't want them to be stuck. So the top, I made it 2 3, I made 3 again. So bottom, let me see where the 3 comes. Here it is, the 3 is unsolved. So this is your buffer and this is your pivot. I follow the same principle. Move it, the 5th layer down, move it right with an F, move the last layer down, and the 5th layer down, 6th layer down, 5th layer down, and your 4th should go up. Now your 5th should be free now, so you can move this back and then move it. So you have now this built. So keep in mind the principle is the same. You move this piece here and then you rotate it in such a way that you bring it to the piece and then secure that also. First you are securing this layer, then you are rotating, because the piece would have come here, you are rotating it to the next layer and then securing that also, then rotating it back and then move this back and then bring this piece on the top and then go up back. So that way it's easier. As you see more clips, I know more pieces being done, you will be more familiar with it. But right now we are left with one more piece to solve, which is on the second, which is on the top two, which is your pivot, and the position where I have to bring it is buffer. Since it is in the left, I'll follow the left side principle, right? So move it to the bar down, bring it to the left, and move the second piece to the corner piece, the left, the second layer down, move it to the right. Now bring this back and then bring this, again move this back and then bring it up. So now you see that you actually move this corner out, but you have actually built the entire edges within the center. So you have got a plus. For the moment, ignore it. You have got a plus here, right? So now this will give you a solution for the corners next. And once you are done with the four corners, you are done with it. So already you have got one solved. So if you are not following me so far, please make sure that you go back and then rewind this and play it again. And if you are stuck somewhere again, in spite of repeatedly trying, please let me know. I'm going to take a break and then come and explain you how to do the corners. Thank you.